Isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at malugod na pagbati mula sa Future Earth Philippines. Welcome sa 93rd episode ng the Filipino SDG Action Hour. Muli niyo kaming samahan sa isa't kalahating oras ng exciting at pakabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mga paksa na napapanahon at tiyak na kapupulutan ng aral at karunungan. At sa hapon na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang topic na social responsibility in the midst of research in the mountains of Mindanao. So ang ating pong panauhin sa hapon na ito ay naglagak ng napakaraming taon sa ibang bansa at dito niya napaglinang ang kanyang expertise sa field ng biochemistry and biotechnology. Siya po ay nakapagtapos ng BS Chem Chemistry from the University of San Agustin at Masterals naman po niya sa biochemistry from the University of the Philippines College of Medicine at PhD in Chemistry from the University of Cincinnati, specializing in physical biochemistry and analytical chemistry. And in recognition po ng kanyang technical expertise and leadership sa Johnson & Johnson, where she led in the development of successful drug products for anemia, chronic renal failure, cancer, chemotherapy, AIDS, and autologous donation for perisurgery, she was awarded the highly sought-after Johnson & Johnson Standards of Leadership, Diamond Award for Significant Achievement and Consistently Outstanding Performance, and Chemist of the Year. She is a recipient of DUST Balik Science Program hosted by the Central University, Mindanao University and the Philippine Food and Drug Administration, and the theme was Capability and Technical Capacity Building, Biodiversity, Drug Discovery, Development and Drug Regulatory Guidelines, Food Security and Environmental Protection, Research-Based Extension Work and Social Responsibility, and work to link academe and industry. She is also a corresponding member of the National Academy of Science and Technology of the Philippines, the Philippine Academy of Science and Engineering or PAASE, the American Chemical Society, and many more. And after taking early retirement from Johnson & Johnson, she dedicated her resources and knowledge in helping various universities in the Philippines, in particular the Central Mindanao University. Our speaker for today is a true example of a talented and generous Filipino scientist. So let's all welcome Dr. Annabel Villalobos.
Thank you very much for the invitation and the kind introduction. Let me share my slides. Okay. In Central Mindanao University, I belong to the Center for Biodiversity Research and Extension in Mindanao, which is called CBRIM. So in CBRIM, many of the researches are led by academician Victor Amoroso, and it is in the mind and heart of the researchers at CBRIM to really work for the good of the people. So we are exploring the various mountain ecosystems in Mindanao, and we are concerned with the people living in the area surrounding the forest. So in this case, I am presenting the social responsibility that we have in the midst of our research in these mountain ecosystems of Mindanao. So let me share with you the playground for our research, which is in Mindanao. These are the mountain ecosystems. In Bukidnon, we have the Mount Kitanglad, and Mount Musuan, which is on campus of Central Mindanao University, which I will show you later on. And then in Davao City, we have the Marilog District. And then Mount Apo, we go through the North Cotabato, and Mount Hamigitan, that is in Davao Oriental, and Mount Malindang in Misamis Occidental. We are not exploring at this time Mount Malindang because of the political situation. So let me show you Central Mindanao University in Musuan, Bukidnon, where I am right now. And I wanted to convey maayong hapon sa inyong tanan from Musuan, Bukidnon. So this is the site of the Central Mindanao University, where an ILTR mountain, which is Mount Muswan, is on campus. So it's so convenient for us to do a lot of propagation, scale-up propagation studies for the plants that we collect from the forest. Now, before I decided to give back to the Philippines in 2012, I retired early in Johnson and Johnson after like 18 to 20 years in the company. And I thought of the students, staff, researchers, and faculty of CMU. Where are they now in research? Because I know the research standing of the Philippines. And for that, I really wanted to help them because uh, I was connected with Central Mindanao University during the early years of my career here in the Philippines. So after about 3 decades out of the country, I decided to give back to the Philippines. And I really wanted to have data right away because I'm used to gather data right away when I was working in the US. So I really wanted to instill that also in the Philippines. And I couldn't wait for grants in order to have to start a study. So what I did was I donated a lot of basic instruments in order to just establish a functional analytical laboratory. So we have this one. We started with a small building, which is just practically nobody was using it, and we use it. We have a lab there. We set up a lab. I just asked for an air-conditioned room in order for our equipment to be maintained. And then also, I wanted to show to the granting agencies in the Philippines that CMU, with an established functional analytical lab, can get grants also using lab-based researches. So we were successful in that we got grants later on from different agencies, government agencies. And the lab that you saw before now becomes we have a building, Natural Science Research Center, where I am now for this Zoom meeting. And then we have SIBRIM. And then these are the appearance of our laboratories now. It's just one of the 7 laboratories in the building. So we gather a lot of data based on this one. And at the same time, whenever we do research, we always think of extension to the people that give us help in doing research. So the goal of social responsibility in our case is to improve the quality of life, safe and effective medicinal drugs, abundance of healthy food, and additional income. That's why we are developing some other things for propagating plants, backed by strong science and always with the benefits of people in mind. That's our mantra. We have to serve the people. Science is not really considered strong and effective if it is not benefiting the people. That is my thinking from years of working in Johnson and Johnson. Collaboration with other organizations. So we should not be hesitant to collaborate with other organizations and explore innovative approaches. So we have edible and medicinal ferns, vascular plants for unmet medical needs. It's not just like develop drugs because it's for inflammation, if we're like that, because that is the trend. No, we need to go into the unmet medical needs of the people, especially of Filipinos. That's my objective. Then we have developed natural fungicide, and now we can use some of the data we have for developing drugs. Sustainable livelihood for indigenous people. So we deal with a group of community in the mountains of Bukidnon at this time, and which I will present to you later on. And to influence young kids to love, save, and protect nature. That's why we have the science camp for kids. Support talented and ambitious individuals to improve life and career. So I'm sponsoring a lot of students here in Mindanao and also encouraging them to get scholarships from US, from Taiwan, from other countries so they can be exposed and come back to the Philippines with a fresh knowledge of what is better. So it is always important that science should benefit the people. That is really something at the back of our mind at SIBRIM. So for this, we need to have training, especially if the equipment, MU is new to a lot of equipment at that time when I came back. So we need to do a lot of training, and training is our mantra. So we have instrument capability, we have new instruments, but what is that for? What are those tools in order to gather data, and will the data be reliable? Mammalian tissue culture, right shop, we can have 3-day right shop based on the data we have gathered, and then after that, they already have publications and so on. Naturally, it's reviewed well, and then many other trainings that we do, good agricultural and collection practices. This is the first one that I provided to the university because this is very important, especially if we are collecting plants that are potential for drugs later on. You need to have traceability. So you need to know the time of day, the region where you collected it, the plant parts, prevent contamination. That's really a big factor because you might be working on the contaminant. It's not the plant that you are really looking at. So this is mainly for traceability. Being from a drug company, traceability is very important, and also documentation. So I also give good laboratory practice because if the lab has a good laboratory practice, whatever data they have will be recognized by other countries in case that a particular entity is developed or marketed in that country. That's very important. Safety in the laboratory, that's another one. Managing laboratories, managing offices, as small as that one, but useful. And then also management fundamentals, because I am a certified manager in Johnson and Johnson. So I share that training to whoever in, especially in CMU and San Agustin, actually. I gave that training there. And whenever we collect plants from the forest, we need to deposit them in herbarium or herbaria. And then at the same time, we have to propagate them on campus. Say if it is very important. In this case, our first study was on 10 edible ferns. So we have a CMU University Fernery. So the small scale is being done there. You can see the 10 ferns at the right side. That's our first study. And then we can scale it up and bring it to Mount Muswan, because Mount Muswan is ILTR. Many of the conditions there are similar to the other mountains in Mindanao. So the scale up for propagation is done at the foot of Mount Muswan, as you can see here. And then scale up propagation is really necessary if you really wanted to study more on that particular plant. And so we have here like Marsilia crinata, Paco, and many other 10 edible ferns. So they are included there. And we do a lot of analysis too. That's why we have the Natural Science Research Center. And for the ferns, we have the antioxidants, protein, and so on. So we know the level of that. How is it compared to the normal vegetables like ampalaya, like malunggay, and so on. Now, what I am showing you here is the LCMS data, metabolomics data, wherein we can identify what are the components that may be important for that particular plant sample, which in this case is impure. So by algorithm, we have the components, and for ferns that we are studying, many of the components, derivatives of that components, are to combat stress. So think about that as fern, as food. And we prepared IEC materials. IEC materials contain all the information about the plant, in this case, the ferns, and then propagation and many others, so that it can be used by anybody. So for the trainings that we are doing, all the participants are given these IEC materials. And we also have sponsored a Fern Gourmet contest, evaluated by a sensory panel. That means that we have 10 edible ferns, what dishes can be prepared out of that. And then they have the recipes. And then this is the photo of all the winners of 26 participants. So one winner for each fern species, as you can see here. And everything is summarized in the book, Fern Recipe Book and Propagation Protocols. So it contains everything there, the properties of each of the edible ferns, propagation, antioxidant level, protein level, the chemistry of cooking ferns or preparing ferns, wherein the antioxidants are not destroyed, because it's easy to destroy antioxidants in many of the food that we are eating. So somebody can claim it, and practically by heating it up more than 70 degrees or whatever, the antioxidants are gone. So we are putting that there, the chemistry of cooking ferns, that's included in this book. And this was published by the ABAR, which is our granting agency, funding agency. And we did dissemination of all our results and potential technology wherein farmers can adopt. That's educational programs, seminar, field visits. So we present our results, we show them what we have, and then everything regarding the edible ferns. So we have this, and then we identified farmer adapters. There were many, and the one that I wanted to show here is the Lake Balinsasayao Farmers Association in Negros Oriental. Lake Balinsasayao is a tourist destination, and they have a cafeteria there. So we brought some of the ferns that are not in the forest of Lake Balinsasayao at that time, and then they planted it in their fern garden. And this project is in collaboration with the late national scientist Angel Alcala and Dr. Eli Alcala of Silliman University. So we have given some lectures to the farmers. They are so interested of ferns after knowing the health benefits, and also they are interested in order for them to have an income, because the fernery that they have is just outside the cafeteria, which of the tourist destination Lake Balinsasayao. So it's from garden to table. And until now, up to this day, they are really very successful in their fernery. So they are operating very well and earning a lot of income. And another project that was called for at that time by Picard is to limit, or if not eliminate, the use of inorganic pesticides for agriculture, because inorganic pesticides are harmful to humans, and then at the same time will be a pollution to the environment. So for us, we answered to that call. And since Bukidnon is a food basket of Mindanao, especially for vegetables, we thought of the tomatoes and lettuce, which are really the products of Bukidnon. So this is our SIP Bio project. So we looked at potential indigenous plants that could be the source of the natural pesticide. So by extensive literature review and focus group discussion with indigenous peoples, we come up with 10 candidates to be source of natural biopesticides. We collected them from all over Mindanao, as you can see here. And this is just a photo of our team going to the forest for our mountain expeditions, and so many mountains here. And we have local researchers who are the ones who know the area very well. Dr. Amoroso made them like local researchers. They are trained even to identify plants, because sometimes they have identified some plants that they think are unique. And then when they're being studied by the team, they become like new species and many other things. So it's a teamwork. And then we also help many of the students and faculty to become really good in research. Many times I support their tuition fees, their thesis support, travel grant to attend scientific meetings, and so on. So that's one of the responsibilities we have for the students, for them to really develop their careers. Now, for the natural fungicide, I thought of for screening the 10 plants that could be potential source of biopesticides. We have to do field testing. Being from an industry, you need to see to it from the beginning that you will reach the market. So you have some ideas whether you can reach the market or not. Now, for this type of entity, it has to work in the field, because even how good your data in the lab or very promising and so on, if it doesn't work in the field, you do not have a product. So in screening, we have the lab work, and then we also have the field testing. And for both, we selected 2 as the candidates. They passed all our tests and so on. One is grass, and the other is a shrub. So naturally, we choose the shrub because of biomass. And that's this Tasmania piperita. The other one is polygala, which is common grass, like that, and so on. Now, for the Tasmania piperita, we didn't really go through with that right away. We developed a formulation, and we have 4 formulations, and we choose only one to continue to for the development of this natural fungicide, as you can see here. So the field verification and optimization of now the formulated products, which is TAS S-Cure. We have a meaning for that, TAS S-Cure, which is our number one formulated product that was tested in by the Talaandig farmer operators in Lantapan, Bukidnon, which is at the foot of Mount Kitanglad, and also by with the Manobo tribe at farmers at the foot of Mount Apo. So you can see here the at the left side and then at the right side, like that, and so on. And then the cost of goods is always at the back of our mind. You cannot develop a product and then you cannot get any income. So for the cost of goods, we have 7 times cheaper for our natural product against the control that we have, wherein the farmers are using at that time. And we have also return on investment. These studies won national award first in research category and then also first in the development category later on. So, and then we have done a lot of testing and like metabolomics again in collaboration with Dr. Yas Yunyu of UP Diliman Institute of Chemistry. And here we identified some of the important components, which could be quercetin, curcumol, which can be potential products for drugs. Now we further study this because Tasmania piperita is also a go-to medicine of some of the indigenous peoples in Mindanao. And then we have done some computer in silico modeling, which confirmed that the component of Tasmania piperita binds with the enzyme responsible for the plant disease. So that's a confirmation that we have. This is published. And now we have a packaged product, efficacious, safe, specific, cheap, environment friendly. It's stable up to 1 year, because if stability is a problem when you develop a product, that could be a stopper, especially when you are looking at spraying of this in the farms. It's stable, it's safe to humans. We have done the testing, and it's field verified. Now let me jump at another project that we have, which is really to support the community of indigenous people. This time it's in the Mount Pantaron Range in San Fernando, Bukidnon. How did we come up to this? This is a research-based extension work. This is an offshoot of the research of SIBRIM led by academician Victor Amoroso. What that is for inventory and conservation of the flora and fauna in Mount Pantaron Range, covering the towns of Cabanglasan, Malaybalay City, and San Fernando, Bukidnon. And it's documented in this research study that there are so many plants that are unique, and it's documented that it has high biodiversity value, the Mount Pantaron Range. That means there are a variety of flora and fauna existing. As you can see in this picture, these are the plants that can be economical for ornamentals, but they are in the forest, and the people cannot just keep getting it from the forest. So we have worked with the indigenous people there, who are the Tagwahanons, and you can see some of these beautiful plants. You can have orchids, pitcher plants, and many others. And the site of the study is in Sitio Natampod, Barangay Namnam in San Fernando, Bukidnon. It is very far from the road. It is very far from the. It is very far that sometimes there's a landslide. We cannot go there, like that, and so on. But you can see there here in the Google map, the one with the arrow, the yellow arrow there, and it is the highest part of the Mount Pantaron Range. So this is our site where we support the community. And why are we so interested in this one? Now, since we are in biodiversity, this area, the Mount Pantaron Range, some people already made it into kaingin. They have it as agricultural, so they are killing trees and other plants and so on. And worst of all, there's already a road, a concrete road that passed through the Mount Pantaron Range. And then there is overcollection of the plants in the forest. Now, it is documented in the research study that the people living there use the forest for food, source of food, and medicine. But many times, whenever they do not have money, they just collect plants, sell it like that, and so on. And nobody is stopping them. And there is no plan to really rehabilitate the area wherein you have to replenish what you have done. So this is a very important project for us. Now, they can even get some of the important ferns, pitcher plants here, over collection, and then abaca. You can see the natives having abaca there. That sometimes the abaca is already not existing anymore in some areas because it's just being over collected without replenishing them. Now, if that happens, that means that once the forest is gone, everything's gone. Those plants are not there anymore. And for being in biodiversity, we need to save the forest. So this is our goal, to assist the indigenous people of Mount Pantaron Range, San Fernando, Bukidnon, to develop marketable handicrafts and propagate ornamental plants found in the locality. Actually, for their handicrafts, the raw materials are coming from the forest. They have unique type of bamboo, they have a unique type of dye, they have ferns that can be made into baskets and so on. And you can see once it's in the market, it's very expensive. So we are trying to help them have a better handicraft like that and so on. So it's for sustainable livelihood for the people, which is poverty stricken and very low literacy rate community. I am so surprised when I visited there because almost 98% of the people in the community are illiterate. I can't believe how come the Philippines is having communities like that. And I was told that that's not only the one community of indigenous peoples having indigenous people having that problem. It's all over. So this project is funded through PAASE with counterpart from CMU. So we have a meager budget for that. And this is our conceptual framework. Our group is to train for capability building activities, nursery, exit to conservation. So whatever are important ornamentals in the forest, Dr. Amoro's group identify them and plant them in the nursery. So when they grow, those people can sell them in the town, but not to get them from the forest. It's from the nursery. And then we have refined handicraft products. So interview the women. I will show you later on. And marketing. Where can they market it? Because right now they have handicrafts for those who order, and there is no quality control and so on. So it's up to the locality. Now we have arranged with the Department of Tourism of San Fernando in a way that whatever produce they have for handicraft, they just keep making handicraft and then deposit it in the Department of Tourism for the department to sell. And that will be the income of the people. So naturally, in order to go there, we need to follow the protocols, the LGUs, and so on to enter Sitio Natampod. So we met with the officers of the barangay, and then we went to the mountain during that day, and then we met the people there, as you can see here. And then naturally, we provided them the fund for establishing of the nursery, and this is done by the indigenous people in the area. And they already have a nursery, and then we identified the plants that will be propagated there. And Dr. Amoroso and Dr. Fulgent Coritico, who is an OYS, is our big proponents of this project. So you can see it here. And then we have a strong connection with the community. They know us whenever we are coming there and so on. And they are helpful and many others. This is a workshop being conducted by Dr. Coritical on the use of sport culture for growing ferns. And they deposited them in the nursery for the indigenous people to take care and later on sell in the market. And for the special handicrafts, we talked with the women who are doing the handicraft, what they are using, and many of the raw materials they are using, especially for dye, is they also use it for medicinal. So that's something that we are going to look at also. And since it's sponsored by PAASE, they made bracelets, uh, baskets, which were used during PAASE APAM's 2024 conference, as you can see here. So they were the ones who made that for the delegates. And then I have a new project, which is the science camp for kids. I thought that maybe it's too late to influence high school or college students. So let's go back to the younger generation. So this is for 5 to 10 years old. And the objective is for the kids to love nature and to conserve and protect biodiversity. So there are 15, 5 to 10 years old last year. We are now in our second year, and actually the science camp for kids will be tomorrow and Sunday, and we have 20 participants at this time. So they learn many things here and then find new friends. So this is really good. We are also enjoying their company here. And one of the influencers here is academician Victor Amorzo. He gave lecture to these kids and give them quiz whether they know plants and whether they eat ferns or whatever from the first day that they learned from the camp. And then they had the opportunity in November 2023. There's an international conference for the SIBRIM 12th anniversary. And I made them attend the opening ceremony so they can meet the speakers from different countries. So it's a matter of exposing them that this is something that they can do when they grow bigger later on, or even when they are younger. There are some curious kids here who sometimes are better than the lecturer because they read a lot also. And then I encourage many of the faculty of Central Mindanao University to earn degrees for career development. The most recent ones are two who went to the US last August for their PhD in chemistry at the University of Cincinnati. That's Ellen Pandan and Dunad Mark Ramos. They are both from Bukidnon, and they will be there for 5 years for their PhD in chemistry. And another one who went to Taiwan for his MS at the Kaohsiung Medical University, Department of Medicinal and Applied Chemistry. So we're doing a lot of things for these people here in Mindanao. So to summarize, I have the science-based utilization of natural and chemical wonders in the mountain ecosystem in Mindanao, collaboration with other organizations in exploring innovative approaches to benefit people with sustainable results. Edible and medicinal ferns, vascular plants with adapter farmers, SIP Bio, that's the natural fungicide, and now we are looking at it as a source of medicine because it's a go-to medicine by the indigenous people. And we have many other ferns that are go-to medicine by these people. Sustainable livelihood, I realized that we need to expand and strengthen educating kids to champion in their community because I think that is what is lacking. I have difficulty dealing with this indigenous people in a way because either their psyche is a little bit different from us, but if there are champions from among their kids, educated, exposed like that, and so on, they can go back. Actually, there are some that we are already targeting like that and so on for this one. Because I think that is what is missing. Science Camp for Kids is here to convince kids for conserving and protecting biodiversity and to pursue science and technology for their future. They can become teachers, scientists, or whatever later on, but they have that love for nature. Encouraging young talented Filipinos to get out of the box. Thank you. And I think we have made our part in the society.
Naku po ma'am, salamat po sa inyong, napakalaking kontribusyon lalo na po sa community po diyan sa, Bukidnon. Kasi hindi po gano'n kadali na magkaroon kayo ng isang lustrous and impressive career sa ibang bansa. Kasi normally po na mga kilala ko kapag nasa US na sila, they will not come back. They will
Yeah.
just stay there. But in your case, ma'am, you choose to go back and turn your expertise into a social responsibility. Salamat po sa part na yon. Attendance
Thank
po
you so
namin
much.
na lagi po namin kasama linggo-linggo. So masasabi ko lang po na sa episode po nating ito, makikita po natin na mahalaga po na meron tayong pagmamahal hindi lamang po sa ating propesyon kundi sa ating bayan. Part po noon ay ibahagi po natin yung ating mga nalalaman at ating mga kaalaman na nakuha sa ibang bansa at i-adapt po yon at isalin po natin sa ating bayan at sa mga susunod na henerasyon. So maraming salamat po sa pagsama niyo sa aming hapon. Ako po si Mark Flores, ang inyong host at makita-kita po tayo uli every Friday, same place, same time, same channel. And you all enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.
You too.
Ah,
Thank you
bye-bye.
so
Thank you.
much. Bye-bye.